All right, hey out there. This is Erik Haaland at David Walters Yachts. We're here in Annapolis today, and we're going to take a look at a pretty unique boat. It's a boat that a lot of people have called about, but for some reason it has not sold yet. So we're going to do more of a walkthrough today and give people a feel for this rare beast. This is a Hunter HC50, which if you've seen a lot of Hunters out there, this is unlike most of them you've probably ever seen. They've only built a few of these boats. This is the following the lineage of Hunter's Child, which was a very fast boat built by Hunter as a one-off that actually won the Chicago Mackinac Race some time ago. And this was the world cruising Hunter, very fast boat. She actually is water ballasted, has port and starboard water ballasting tanks. This boat would cruise routinely up in the teens and in the 20s for boat speed, cruising on the road quite fast. And this boat has done 1.5 circumnavigations and is sitting here in Annapolis ready for her next owner. So we're going to go ahead and take a look around today. We'll start outside. And one of the first things you're going to notice is it does have the typical Hunter mast with no backstay. This is a carbon fiber mast, triple spreader, with a carbon fiber pocket boom. And you see this kind of a weird arrangement right down here with these support bars. This rig is actually supported up on that black base right there. It's supported by this tripod of carbon spars that goes out and hits the deck. And this lower section is, well, really, it doesn't do anything. There's no support for the mast below that point. It's there for looks, and it's there also to help the halyards get down to the deck level. But this helps to put some more of the loads off of the deck and gives some extra support to the mast higher up. The bow up here, we can see we've got an anchor roller right there with a nice large anchor on her. The hull looks to be in good shape. It's nice and shiny. Not bad for both the age. Bottom's in good shape. We actually just had the keel fairing all redone. As you can see here, the boat draws about 6 feet, and which is pretty good for a 50-foot boat that goes this kind of speed. All the through hulls are of a flush type to help with the speed there, to limit the amount of drag. Now, this boat originally would have come with a sail drive. However, it was special ordered with a fixed shaft and MaxProp, the Yanmar, I believe it's 55 horsepower diesel for extra speed and just a reliability out cruising the oceans. We've got a spade hung rudder right here, and there's also a space for the secondary rudder, which would go here. This hatch would be removed, and a tiller with a rudder would go down here as a spare. It's stored below, so if you did for some reason lose this rudder, there is a secondary rudder that comes out of this hatch here and goes through the deck, and a tiller in the cockpit. See some of that flare there. That's very custom to a lot of racing boats with a lot of beam. I just lost my gimbal there. I'm sorry about that. And just looking around, see the outboard motor here on a stand. We've got Bimini top over the helm area with a radar, with solar panels up there. There's this nice large transom sugar scoop here, swim platform with some lockers out back for propane. Sorry about the sun there. I'll try and move her over on this side. You see the chain plate here is externally mounted, so it's easy to service and access. So you can see that everything about this boat is just the essence of speed. It's set up to go fast and set up to get you there. Light-handed, you could operate this boat double or single-handed if you had to. Everything's run back to the cockpit. We have some extra gear here. There's a dinghy that's under the cover. So let's go up top and take a look at the rest of the boat. Okay, so we're up here on the transom of Anastasia, the Hunter HC50. And we're going to take a look around and show you some more of the on-deck features of the boat before going below. So here we've got outboard motor for the dinghy. It's on a transom mount right here. And there's also a crane that's right above me to get the motor on off the back of the boat. It's built into the stern rail. Nice clean feature. We've got a propane locker right here. Single bottle. This is the Genoa furler. The Genoa furler is unfortunately seized and requires replacement. Gonna swing around here over to the port side. We've got another locker with a spare bottle for the propane. See the stern pulpit here is nice and strong. It's a pretty beefy setup, along with the frame here for the solar panels and the Bimini. Now, like I was mentioning when we were down below, looking at the hull, you can see here where the spare rudder would attach, and this hatch here would be removed. And this is where you would put that spare rudder in if you ever had to use it. Hopefully not, but it's there for a reason. Moving forward, right now the helm wheel is off. It's actually sitting right there just to get more space in the cockpit to move around. But normally the helm wheel will be right here. And then we have on the starboard side, we have a nice large lazarette locker. Pretty deep. It's full of stuff right now, but it's a very deep locker. And it's duplicated on the port side as well. You see here, we've got some nice teak benches, lightweight, also easy to move around. And we have a hatch here. This hatch actually leads down into the aft storage compartment where we have access to some mechanical things like the back end of the engine, the generator, which is not really a generator, it's a 12-volt DC generator, but it's being used for the water maker as well. If I can get this up. There we go. Take a look inside. So here we have fuel filters. We have parts of the water filtration system. There's some storage boxes. And then this goes, pan around here. This goes all the way back and under the cockpit floor. We have some exhaust over there. That's the small Yanmar 2-cylinder diesel over there for the DC generator and for the water maker. We have some scuba tanks. So as you can see, it's quite a lot of space in here for however you would want to store gear or get to some maintenance items. Moving over on the port side here, got a life raft with a hydrostatic release. If everything ever happened, this would just push this out of the way and the life raft would deploy. We have some netting here, some pockets for deck storage. We have the engine control panel right there. Engine has about 5,200 hours on it. Of course, we have all of our lines have been led aft to the cockpit here. We've got our secondary winches there for our foresails. We have halyards here, and they run up along the edge of the deck up forward. And we have on this side, we have a 2-speed electric winch here for the main halyard and some of the other spinnaker halyard, that kind of thing. Now moving forward here, you can see that the forward edge of the cockpit, we've got this nice hard dodger that's come up a bit further aft. So when you're out here sailing at speed, normally you're going to be on autopilot, and you get your autopilot control and instrumentation right there. So if you want to be on deck when you're sailing, you would just, sorry about that, my view does rotate. I rotate it back for you. There we go. So if you wanted to be here on deck, you would just sit here on one of these seats, control the autopilot, and any spray or waves that came over would just wash over and out the back into the cockpit. There's not a traditional, in a sense, dodger on this boat. It's more of a fixed one. Because you're not really going to be steering for hand, at least hand-wise, much of the time offshore and using the autopilot instead. Looking at the top of the Bimini here, we can see we've got solar panels. We've got radar, SSB antenna, VHF, SAT TV antenna, I'm sorry, SAT phone antenna, and the other electronics you need. Going up on deck, you might notice there's no davits in the back of the boat. That's because this boat goes so fast, the davits would just be crashing around the back of the boat. So instead, we have these chocks here where the dinghy actually rests on and then is strapped in place, and it's strapped in place using these hydrostatic releases. So again, if the boat were to go down for some reason, the dinghy would automatically release and float up if it went down. Nice wide side decks, plenty of room to walk around up here. All the lines are inboard, nicely arranged. We've got rod rigging. Rod rigging is in nice condition, as well as the painted carbon mast is in good shape. She looks very nice. And you can see here the anchor windlass, and you might think, wow, that's in a weird spot. It's way back in the bow. Well, that's because they're trying to get the weight out of the bow as much as possible, because the speed for the boat to be planing offshore, the weight of the chain would be too much all the way in the bow. So the chain is actually sits on top of the keel, and the windlass is mounted here, and then the chain just would rub up and down on the this fiberglass tape that goes all the way up to the anchor. Now, there's no chain aboard. The chain is actually wasted, so it has been thrown away and requires replacement, but all the arrangement there is for it. Now, we can see up here on the bow, there's the anchor right there, and the Genoa furler, obviously, that's back at, has been removed. And we have the tacking point up here with that fixed sprit. So that sprit actually is extendable. It's attractive right now for when you're in a marina to make it easy to dock the boat and not pay so much in dockage fees, but you put it right here in this tube. And so this pole would be extended before you're leaving your journeys, and you put a pin right there where that hole is to lock the pole in place. So the pole is not controllable from the cockpit. It's only mounted up here, and you just extend it, and you can put your code 0 on, and you leave the code 0 up when you're sailing offshore. You can see that pin is dangling right there. And otherwise, we have this nice large storage compartment with lots of room to put a spare sail, a spinnaker, that kind of thing. And we'll continue back down here from the port side going aft. See some of the arrangement here, the halyards, how they're run and how they're going to move back to the aft end of the boat. So essentially, when you're offshore, there's no reason to leave the cockpit. Everything goes aft, and you're nicely protected. And if the weather gets nasty, you just go down below and let the boat handle itself on autopilot. Okay, so we're sitting here under the Dodger. You can see we have a couple lights, port lights, port one starboard, as well as some ventilation for the inside. So when you're sitting under here and you're cruising along at high speed, you're nicely protected. This also gives you access to some of the ballast transfer controls. So you have some valves right here. These go up and down to allow you to open the gate valves that would dump ballast from one side to the other. So if you're not familiar with a ballasted boat, there's a pump down below under the floorboard, and that pump will transfer water back and forth. Now, if you're tacking, what you would want to do is you would want to dump the one side and let gravity dump water out into the other tank, and then it'll level out. You close the gate valve, and then you'll pump the water the rest of the way up using the pump inside. And then we're going to go inside here. So this door, this is a watertight door, closes like that. So yeah, if you're out there in high seas, then you can close this and seal up the interior, but you can also get in it nice and easily. It's only a 2-step down. So it's a really shallow hull form for speed. So it's nice and easy to get in and out of the boat. You see in here, it's pretty nicely appointed. You know, one of the first things we're going to notice here is the nav station on the port side. It's really easy to see from the cockpit, and it's also quite easy to get to. Headroom, I'm 6'2", so headroom in here is about 6'5", 6'6" throughout until you get to the forward portion of the boat in the forward cabin. The nav station might look kind of funky. That's because it's actually gimbaled. You can see that track right there. So the nav station and the whole seat can actually rotate back and forth in high speed, so the nav station's always level. Pretty cool feature, huh? You don't see that very often. You've got a bookshelf up here, radios, VHF, SSB, Raymarine, E80, PC navigation, instrumentation, autopilot control, and of course a large table here. You can actually see where this boat has been. So yes, it's been around the world 1.5 times. To the Med, to the Pacific, Americas, all over the place. We've got weather facts, 2 satellite phones, your AC and DC panel, generator control panel. That DC generator's got 1,500 hours on it. Battery charger panel, AccuGauge bilge pumps, that sort of thing. And then under here, we've got some more of the electronics equipment. We have the Smart Pod for the Raymarine, AIS controls, and different switches. And then we have electronic compass right here. So yeah, pretty cool setup under here. And with this whole nav station that can rotate backward, this whole desk just goes, pivots back and forth like this. Looking behind here, we move this door out of the way. There we go. And you can see how from the inside here, how this door functions, just like that. There are 2 pins and it locks in place. So this is the sea berth here. It's an extra large single with plenty of storage in bags here and some shelving back aft. And then on the port side here, just forward of that, we have our master battery switches and we have more storage. There we go. Got a nice little tool chest right there. The work table. And then if we swing around here, we'll come around to the starboard side. You see a lot of things here are made to let the boat be as light as possible, like these hanging locker doors. They're very, very light. They're mesh, so it's easy to see what's inside them and keep the weight down as much as possible. Remember, this boat was built to cruise at speed. Here we go, our second cabin aboard. This is the a double, quite large one, with more hanging bags and more shelving spaces. And then we have here, this is all your tankage right here. So you've got your water maker controls, your valve system for the water maker, and of course your fuel system right here. Just forward of the aft cabin, we've got this nice pantry right here. And then, I'm sorry, that does not come out, but that's actually access to the side here for the washer dryer unit. In this compartment, this is the day head. So we have a washer dryer. We've got medical kit right here and first aid set up. We've got a sail on top of here, but there is a head under there, and we have cockpit cushions and more bags. Coming forward to the next section of the boat, we've got the main living area. So we've got on the port side here a nice dinette with a U-shaped settee and more storage outboard. We got VHF radios here. This hanging lamp. And then we have the galley here on the starboard side. Nice large galley, 2-burner propane range. We've got lots of refrigeration. Again, I mentioned the external chain plates. There's the inside of the starboard one right there. So very easy to investigate and service, and it is bonded with a very nice size cable. Then the inboard one is right there. So easy to see where things are on this boat. Double basin stainless sink, microwave. And then under here, we've got more of a storage area, more trash can in here. And then this is where the water heater would go. Actually, the reason the chain was wasted away is because the water heater had leaked, and the water that went down that just rusted the chain out. So it does need a new water heater, but the space is there for it. You can see here some of the bilge access. You get your keel bolts down there and your bilge pump. And then moving forward, we entered the last watertight area of the boat, and this door here does close, and it is gasketed. So you can close this off from the bow if you ever had to. For whatever reason, it's pinned at the top and the bottom, just like the main entry door for the interior. Again, the view there of the some of the bilge right there. That's a new through hull that was just installed. We've got port side hanging locker and a bunch of more storage. air conditioning access. All right, up forward here, we've got a lot of storage on the port side, as you can see. And then we have our master berth up here in the bow, and that carbon support you saw up top for the forward end of the mast does come down through here and terminates at the bottom of the hull. But the bed is nice and large. It is a modified queen size. You get a lot of space in here. You have port and starboard little settees here as well, fans, lighting. And then over here, we have our master head, shower, toilet, and a separate shower here with a curtain. So as you can see, the Hunter HC50, it's a well-appointed interior. However, it is Spartan. It doesn't have the fit and finish and trim you're going to see of some other world cruising yachts out there. However, the premise behind this boat, again, is speed. So if you're looking to cruise around the world quickly or get to your destination fast, however you want to do it, this boat will get you there better than anything else on the water in this size range. So we just dropped the price. Actually, the price is $125,000 for this boat, and she's here waiting for you. Actually, before we go, we're going to take a quick peek here at the engine. See if we can do this without me dropping the camera. All right. Okay, there we go. There she is. So looking pretty good for 5,000 hours on the engine. All right, well, this has been a tour of the Hunter HC50. If you have any questions or would like to schedule a showing, please give me a call. My name is Erik Haaland, and 410-279-3027 or Erik at davidwaltersyachts.com.